And we are live. Welcome back, everyone, to the Mecca Banner podcast. Thanks for joining us today. I'll be your host, Winks. You can find me on Twitter at LCW21. Let's just get it going, go around the horn, see how everybody's doing. Hafey, what's up, brother?
I'm actually pumped to be here. Chelsea winning 3 games in a row hasn't happened in a very long time, even if it is against Preston. Hey, I'm happy to talk about it. But yeah, happy to see the boys, talk some footy. And also, I know it might be a little spicy episode. There might be some banter coming your guys' way, so I'm happy to be here. Obviously, you can hit me on the Twitter at Hafey4. But yeah, pumped to be here, Winks.
Good, man. Good to see you. Happy
Vibes are
you
so
guys got
up
a
with
win
you,
this
Nick.
weekend.
It's so
What'd you say?
crazy.
I know.
I said the vibes are so up with you. It's like unheard of the last 3 weeks on this podcast. You're just like beaming, bro.
I love it. Yeah.
Hey, I also
Proud
told
of
you
it.
guys it's a new mindset as well. New mindset.
New year,
Sure.
new Nicky.
Mhm.
I love that.
New mid-table
I-
mindset.
Yeah, mid-table mindset.
I saw some joke that it was like a pickup line somebody was using, and they were like, "Are you Chelsea or are you a Chelsea fan?" And it was like, "'Cause you're always a 10 or something like that." For
Mm.
place. I thought that was good. Yeah, no, I agree, Nikki. I think this is going to be a spicy one and such a good one for me to host in particular. But United boys, what's up, Dobes?
What's going on, fellas? Good to see a full squad here today. Happy to dive in. I have stuck to my New Year's resolution. My mindset has been good with United. I will say there was a tragedy on January 6th. Another one, I guess I should say, this year. Bielefeld knocked out of the Polka by Union Berlin. So another January 6th tragedy under the belt.
Jesus, brother.
But happy to be here. Happy to see you guys. I'm happy to dive in. It's gonna be spicy. It's gonna be spicy today. I love it.
It will be.
Good
And what's up, big
Lord.
dog?
I don't know how to follow that. I don't have any witty jokes regarding the time of year it is or the date on the calendar, but I did have a joke as well that I wanted to kick off with, and it is Arsenal's defense against Liverpool. So feel good being here. Excited feel good being here. Excited to be here. It's a great week. It's a great week to be a Manchester United fan. Loving every moment of it. You can find me on Twitter at Henry Wind, and you can also follow the TikTok at Mecca of Banter. You're gonna get a weekly TikTok from me. Maybe I'll talk about Manchester United the entire time. Maybe these guys won't allow it. Don't know, but we're gonna get some weekly content
Gonna keep doing it until it asks for forgiveness, not permission. right?
until the group chat says, "Hey, fucking stop."
Just like our Twitter account. Yes,
Mhm.
sir.
Mhm.
All right.
Everybody has access. Everybody has access. You know?
That's true.
That's what I'm saying.
I know. I just don't know how you guys find the time to tweet all this bullshit while also I don't yeah, man, I don't know. Hoov, what's up, big dog?
Not much, man. I was the first thing I did this morning was get on Twitter and get on the Mecca account and start arguing random St. Louisans about a 5-3-2. So, yeah, I'm doing good. Spurs are Spurs, and we keep moving, and we lost half our team to injury or AFCON or the Asian Cup. So, like Ange has done this whole time, we're just going for it, mate, and just whatever. But yeah, happy to be here.
Good brother, happy to have you. And last but not least, we have a special guest on today's episode. Professor Bucci Main, welcome back, brother. We're stoked to have you. I'm not stoked to have you today in particular, but happy you're back in general. What's going on, brother?
Thanks, man. Happy to be here. It's been a crazy few weeks for me. End of the semester is Thursday, and I swear I've given about probably 13 tests in the last 8 days of school. So I am mentally exhausted, barely slept, been grading, but hey, we're here doing it live. And Arsenal's booty cheeks and Arteta's booty ear cheeks. And Trent's the GOAT. That's all I'm gonna say, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Lucas, I always knew
Let's
you
go.
were an ass man. Always knew you were an ass man.
I am, always will be. Nothing wrong with that.
Happy to be here, especially tonight for sure.
Good brother. Yeah, I believe it.
He really does
Um,
pick and choose which episodes he
Dude,
goes
he
to.
does.
Very
man.
well, very well.
It
Maybe just
blows
don't hear
my
from
mind.
him for a month, and all of a sudden they beat Arsenal. He's like, "Yeah, I'll be there, guys. Don't worry."
Yeah. Honestly though, I had no idea because I haven't heard from you, but didn't know that you like had all these tests going on. I figured that the last of your tests were like right before your winter break, and you said it's been a busy last couple weeks, and I'm sitting over here thinking, bro, you were on freaking Christmas break. What do you like? What do you
I know,
do it?
dude.
But that's
Look at my
kind of a
eyes.
weird
Can you
setup.
see the bags under my eyes right now?
Yeah, you look
Like
like you look like you
I've
ripped
barely
a.
slept.
I'm looking for your beard, man.
I
Yeah.
barely slept.
No,
Yeah, bro.
you look like a child.
Yeah, you went
2024, bro. I'm growing the Letty back, or I'm gonna try whatever's left.
Our YouTube watchers are in for a treat tonight.
Mhm.
Keep stroking your face, bud.
Hey.
All right,
Bud?
well, gentlemen, we obviously we didn't have the Premier League this week, which sucked all the way around, but we did have some pretty good FA Cup fixtures that we're going to run through. And then we're going to talk about St. Louis City a little bit, and then we'll finish with a 10-minute segment. But with that being said, we'll dive into the first FA Cup game of the week, which was Burnley at Spurs. Tottenham with a 1-0 win. And I won't dive too much into it. I'll let our resident Spursy fan do it, but hit us with the analysis, Hoove.
Interesting intro for sure. But yeah. Still playing with 4 wingbacks. It's at the back line, so that's sick. Ben Davies pulled his hamstring in the last 4 minutes of the game, so that's even cooler. We shipped off Ashley Phillips, which is a young kid we bought earlier this year at center back on loan to Plymouth. So at the moment, lads, we have one healthy player that is going to fill in at center back, and it is the rap star legend Emerson
Let's
Royale.
go.
So we're going into United with Emerson Royale, just one man solo job at the back, and still might get it done. Not gonna front, but yeah, the game itself was it was another sticky FA Cup tie. Draw Burnley in the third round. Premier League team, obviously bottom of the table, but they were going there to prove something for sure. General thoughts. You forget it was like when we rested Berkey one game last year, and you were like, "Oh wow, I miss his distribution." When we don't have Sonny, it's like, "Oh wow, turns out we're pretty toothless." So, that's gonna suck for the next couple of months. There's no way around that. Pedro Porro hit a banger, and if it wasn't for freaking Patrick Bamford, would have been the goal of the weekend, maybe the goal of the month. It was a screamer. I love him. He played really well up and down the field.
He's been on a great run of games.
He has.
Good.
He definitely has. And there's Spurs fans that are, calling for him to like they think his talent and ability on the ball is wasted in a right back. And I don't necessarily feel that way, but the way that things are going, if we get 2 healthy center backs in, put him out there. I don't know. Like, what's the worst that could happen? The guy's creative as hell. He loves to be up in the attack. I think he plays the position of the wingback really well in the inverted system. But, take a punt, maybe. Who knows? Johnson, isn't getting it done. Brian Hill is 12 years old and 100 pounds soaking wet. Kulusevski plays really well on a 10. He plays pretty well on the wing. We're in this weird, like, who's going to play what position this week situation. Yet Ange keeps getting it done. So, I sit here and complain about things, but this is the first time in my Spurs career we've had this many injuries and this much adversity, and I've just been like, okay, let's go. Go next up.
You just got to roll with it.
Yeah, which is something I'm sure some other fans could probably take a page out of that book for. But
Matters is back mid-month though.
Matters is
You gotta
back.
feel good about that.
The word on the street is Mickey is going to be pretty fit for United, so I would like to think he plays 60 minutes. Maybe Timo Werner.
Center backs though, bro. Because you don't like to play him 90 minutes. You don't necessarily like to pull him out like 70 minutes. I'll be curious to see what they do with him.
I will too. He was on the bench against Burnley, and I was cool that I was cool that they didn't play him because I felt that was them gearing up to at least let him get as many minutes as he could on next week. We play Sunday, right? But yes, we're talking about, we're in contact with Genoa for one of their young center backs who I guess would immediately slot in on the right side. That would be the wildest thing I've ever seen from a Spurs management point of view of getting a player in before a big game in January, which is that's not something that I'd ever seen before.
And
So
signing 2 center backs in one season.
2 center backs in one season, dude.
Yeah, while we're
I
at
know.
it. Yeah.
And we lose Romero every 6 weeks, so it feels like he's a new signing every once in a while too. But yeah, we move. We picked up City in the next round. A couple spin zones on that could be it's at home. They still haven't scored there. If we do beat them, that's literally, I think, anyone's biggest competition for the entire tournament. So we'd be doing everyone a favor if we knocked them out. I'd rather face them now instead of in 2 rounds in a quarterfinal or something like that, semifinal, because that would just mean we played more games. And here's City.
But also you guys might have some guys back from injury. I feel like this is. I know you guys have had a good good stint of games against them for the most part in the last couple of years, but I feel like this might be the game that they just.
For
KDB's
sure.
back. This could be the slaughterhouse.
And they have their full squad. They're not losing anyone.
I was
right?
going to say, when is that game? Like, well, I'm assuming Sonny won't be there, will he?
No, unless they
It's not
get
for
knocked
it's
out
not for a
early.
while. It's not for a while though. Like they announced the next round of games, I feel like super early.
Oh, really?
I was reading on Twitter that it would take a miracle for South Korea to be out of the Asian Cup by the time we play City for that tie.
Interesting.
So, and like I'm taking Ange's point of view on the whole AFCON, Asian Cup thing. He's basically like, I hope they do well. Who am I to be, that guy to tell that or not, to hope that they lose and drop out. He's like, you lose them once every 4 years. I can handle that. So, obviously, Sonny went and won an Asian Cup, 4 years ago, and literally saved his entire team from going to the military for 2 years. Like, there's some serious weight on that for all of those guys. And if I was an American fan and we're playing the Copa America this exact same time, like, I don't give a shit about Milan. Pulisic is coming to play in the Copa America. Yeah, exactly. Like that. I get it. It sucks that 3 of the players we're losing are starters, everyday players. But tis what it is. Spurs move. I got a sick fucking pullover that I forgot I ordered, and everything's looking great for the.
Can you show everybody on YouTube the back of it?
The back with the Holston.
Yeah, Holston Umbro.
Holston Umbro. Yeah, this thing's ridiculous.
We love vintage gear.
1991 drill top, they call it. Don't even know what that means. Bought it. Looks great.
Sounds sick though. Drill top.
The drill top, yeah. That's
Hoove, you mentioned his name. Do you want to talk about him now, or you want to wait till the 10-minute segment to talk about Timo?
I don't know. Since it's all but confirmed, I guess we might as well. But
Yeah, here we go.
it's been here we go to Timo Werner to Spurs on a 6-month loan. I just there's so many factors here. I dogged this guy at Chelsea. Dogged him. There's no way that you would go back into these recordings and find me not just giving it to him. The alternate point of all of it is that 6 month loan, no obligation or anything to buy. There's a buy clause, which is like 18 million, which I find to be still in a reasonable price tag for a guy who at one point scored like 40 goals in a season in the Bundesliga. So, the risk reward here is zero risk, only reward. There's nothing that Spurs can look at and be like, this is a terrible move. We don't have another striker.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we're playing Richarlison, who, on his day will score a nice header and a tap in, but like he's not the Ange style striker that I feel, would fit his system. Whereas Timo Werner's a presser, guy's a relentless runner, covers spaces. If that's what we get out of him, and when Sonny comes back, I think that may complement each other really well. But there's just nothing I like. It's hilarious in terms of football Twitter because everyone's gonna give him shit because he probably deserves it. But at the end of the day, like we're not spending any money on this cat. if he scores 4, I've seen people on Twitter like if he scores 4 goals this year, I'll send everyone that's liked this $1, and it was already at like 10,000 likes. So
It's so good.
like there's just the narrative around it outside of Spurs is like hilarious. The narrative in Spurs is like, what do we have to lose? There's absolutely nothing. So,
Dude, I genuinely, I don't hate it for you. I don't. I think like, I mean, because he was linked with United for, a couple of days, and
A couple
my
of
down,
weeks.
yeah, well, I mean, yeah, but then Spurs came in and like wasn't really linked with Spurs, and they just got it done in like 3 hours. So like, it shows the state of United. But I think like the downside that I was thinking through is also like the fact that we just talk so much shit on them. Other
Yeah.
than that, like there's just no real downside. And Nikki, before you even go there, like yeah, he wasted so many chances at Chelsea and like all that stuff. But I actually think that even when you get all your dogs back from AFCON and all that stuff, he's going to challenge some of those guys for a
For sure.
starting spot. Like,
Yeah.
I think he just will. As you mentioned earlier, Brennan Johnson, like, he's done a lot of things right, but like he needs some competition on that side. And Timo can kind of play anywhere across the front three. And like, I don't know. I think it's a great signing, and I think the only detractor is just how much shit we've given him
And
over the last couple of years.
Timo may have missed some chances, but I wasn't like a huge hater of Timo when he was on Chelsea.
No.
I think he did a lot for the side.
You definitely were the first person to be
Thomas
like,
Tuchel deserves a Nobel Prize.
You're right. You're right about that.
League
You're
if
right on
Thomas
that.
Tuchel and Kai Havertz.
Yeah,
But
Timo.
Tuchel also put in a shift with his pressing and his like he was an engine at times for us and making some hard runs. Like yes, he missed a lot of chances, but like I wasn't dogging him by any means.
I think the way that he got
Go ahead, Dave.
the way that he plays, the reward won't necessarily be him scoring. Like those high
Totally.
turnovers are so important and have happened time and time again that the Spurs have scored off of. That he may not actually be the final product. So Nicky was the first guy to say, even way back then, like you definitely weren't a hater. You were like, look, he's not scoring the goals that we want him to score, but he works harder than 90% of the people on the pitch every game. So that's what you want. Maybe Ange
Looks
gets
like a deer at some point, but I mean that's another story.
I feel like
Yeah.
most of the chances that we see, like when Sonny's at his best, it's almost in transition because of his pace and it's his
Totally.
runs. And that's what
Timo's best.
what Timo's really good at is those in behind spaces. Now the funniest part of it is when he gets like 20 yards near goal, but the runs and stuff is there. And I think that like, not that he's gonna obviously replace Sonny, but it's not like a like for like switch because Sonny's finishing is better, but they're kind of the same type of player in a way to where like they're most successful when they're running in behind versus the balls at their feet. And I think that's what Timo's going to have to be.
Totally. And I think what'll also be funny is the narrative the last couple months of the season of the Chelsea rejects. Who's better, Kai Havertz, Mason Mount, or Timo? They'll all be in the
Timo,
Prem.
yeah.
The
The goals
Arsenal
and the
fans are
assists.
asking if they could pay more. They wanted to pay more for Kai.
That was Declan, my boy.
Yeah. So
Nonetheless,
we roll. Yeah.
we roll. And I think that's kind of a good transition. Talking about the ex-Chelsea boy, we can head into the second FA Cup match of the weekend, mid-table in the Prem, Chelsea versus mid-table in the Championship, Preston North End. Nikki, take it away.
Yep. Obviously, the final 4-0 does not tell the full story in this one. If any of you guys watched it, it was definitely a tale of two halves. The first half was an awful performance by Chelsea and kind of on the roller coaster that is our season of late. Was not really thrilled. The lineup that Poach put out, I wasn't really hating it at first. But then early on in the game, I started to realize that we were playing a championship side and they were obviously going to be sitting in a low block against us. And we had Gusto playing left back, who is predominantly right-footed, and a brand new first start for our senior team, Gilchrist, playing at right back, who's usually a center back feeding in crosses to Broya. So like, we definitely need width in a low block, and those two being our width, putting in crosses wasn't great for us in the first half. Before I go into the rest of the game, I will say Gilchrist, I wanted to give him a shout out. He's obviously a Chelsea boy, and I thought he put in a shift for us. It was only 60 minutes, and it was his first start. He had 95% pass accuracy, 100% tackles won, 79 touches, and two out of two duels won. So I just wanted to give him a little shout. 20-year-old Chelsea Academy boy, putting in a shift for us at right back. But gonna be honest, when he was subbed off the field, is kind of when Chelsea started performing and playing a lot better. We brought in Thiago Silva in the 60th minute. And in doing so, we moved Gusto over to the right side, get our crosses more in, and Broya finally found the net. Once he found the net, it kind of opened the floodgates, and we actually looked like what we've kind of looked like the last two games with scoring some of the goals. One thing I want to bring up is, obviously, we've talked about FOTMOB a whole bunch, and this is a great case of FOTMOB being the worst thing in the world for it, because it gave Sterling the man of the match, who, yes, he scored a goal, and it was a great free kick, but besides that, he was probably the worst player on the pitch for us. And anytime he had the ball in the first half, turned it over and was getting absolutely worked by the Preston left back. So that made me laugh a little bit, seeing that as the FOTMOB final tally. But I will say he did have a great finish on a free kick. It was well placed in the top left corner, but that's about it for him. But
he was the FA Cup man of the match too, not just FOTMOB.
I know, which that blows my mind. Like, if you watch the game and at any aspect, you would have saw that he did not have that well of a game besides his one goal. I thought so. Another thing I wanted to point out was Thiago Silva came on and he immediately scored. In great ball from Cole Palmer. Cole Palmer playing incredible, getting goals and assists for us. I'm really enjoying that. And then obviously Enzo getting on the score sheet as well. Like, I know it wasn't the most pretty goal that we've ever seen. It was kind of a tap in for him, but just him finding the back of the net, I feel like is a good confidence booster for him and hopefully for games to come. But yeah, I mean,
I always forget that Enzo doesn't really get on the score sheet too much. Like, I feel like he's a player that scores more than he does, but then like he scored the other day, and that was like his third goal for Chelsea since he signed, which is crazy,
which is wild, and especially like I think of late the positions we've been playing him in. I think early on, remember like the first like Frank, right when he came, he was playing holding for us and just in this grind position, and like now we have like Caicedo who can sit and frickin' Gallagher who just puts in shifts on shifts on shifts, and I think it frees up Enzo a little bit more, and like we still aren't really seeing like him put away that many goals, so him seeing some bit of the back of the net in this game, I'm super pumped for him, and hopefully it continues in that way.
Bro, Cole Palmer's him, bro.
Bro, I love him. I hope
He's him.
I love him. Cole Palmer is the guy.
He's nasty.
How long is Nkunku out for?
So I just saw apparently his recent one wasn't as bad, which is good to see. He said this is from Poach, and this was in prep for the Middlesbrough, his press conference before. He's not going to play in the Middlesbrough game, but he says it won't be as long as they were expecting at first.
But what was the injury?
I saw. I'll have to look.
The next Reece James.
Yeah, I think it was his hips.
Yeah, it was his hips, but it had nothing to do with his knee.
Good to hear.
At least.
Yeah, I was. Oof.
Well, good, man. Congrats on moving on to the next round. Next game of the weekend was Arsenal-Liverpool. Liverpool finished 2-0.
Oh my god!
And I'm happy to let Butch take his victory lap here and start us off. Go ahead.
Just him.
Hey,
Trent's a baller offensively.
Dude, he is a baller. He is a baller. I'm gonna start off. I'm gonna give you a little bit of praise. Okay, I like to be a decent bloke when I can, and
when you're here.
When you just show up.
You said, but tonight I can't. Arsenal is tight.
No, but Winks brings it up all the time. Like when you play at the Emirates, you have to survive a first half blitz, and you guys were far superior in the first half. if you look at the chances, like Odegaard rang the bar. Konate had the block of the year. I don't know if you guys saw that, but Gomez gives the ball away. They square it to Reece Nelson, who has a tap in, and Konate comes out of nowhere and just full body on the line, blocks it like 4 yards off the line.
I think he gave it away in case he comes here in January.
Who'd you say?
I think.
Oh, Gomez?
Yeah.
You take Joe Gomez?
Or sorry, I'm thinking of the wrong guy.
I was gonna say, dude, you can have him. Bro.
It's been a long day. No, I know. I was thinking Curtis Jones, but go ahead.
No.
Gomez did pocket Saka.
And yeah, I was gonna say, dude, Saka got pocketed by Joe, dude. You know, like
Been saying Saka's overrated.
But
Been saying.
Okay, buddy.
Here's the thing, like it was a great first half from you guys and very average from us, but definitely saw the difference in the second half. You guys didn't have the ball as much. Whatever Klopp said worked. Whatever changes he made worked. We started to go forward. Once again, when you move Trent farther inverted or in the midfield, he creates so many freaking plays for our team. It's unbelievable how much of a difference it is. And he was the difference maker in the end, just creating chances for people. Obviously, you hate to take a lead on an own goal. Like it's not high praise. It's not high praise like for the goal that we scored, but it was a good ball in. Unlucky for your guy. Was it the Polish guy, Winks, that
Kiwi
had the own goal?
He's been shambolic.
The last goal from Diaz was class, unbelievable finish. But you know who besides Trent, in my opinion, the player of the game off the bench was Diogo Jota. That dude changed the game for us because he came in, started linking the play better, made some great runs. I think he's such an underrated player, and I think he would start at a lot of clubs in the world, and he doesn't get a lot of game time. Or he doesn't get many starts for Liverpool, but he is a really good player, and he showed some good stuff for us in that game. So, definitely big win for us. Knocking out a team like you guys in this stage of the tournament is it's a good sign for us moving forward. Hopefully, we can get ourselves to Wembley. We'll see. What do you think, Winks?
Yeah, what do you think, man?
Yeah. I was.
What do you think, Lucas?
So
talk to us.
So
Lucas.
Elliot said on his podcast, I was listening to the beginning of it, and although it wasn't true this weekend, they started out their episode by saying, "You dress for the job you want," and we dressed like Tottenham and got that result wearing the all white.
Damn.
That was very clever of him, but obviously that wasn't true in the FA Cup this weekend. But yeah, a couple notes. First of all, I thought for the most part Ramsdale did well. I'm glad that he got the start. I for those of you who watched Butch, I'm sure you saw, but like 2 minutes in, he played that long ball past your back line to Reece Nelson, and I was like, guy's been working on his footwork and his long balls at practice.
You don't think first goal he could have done something on it?
Say what?
You don't think that first goal he could have done better on?
The first goal, the own goal?
Yeah, the own one when he comes out and just falls.
I mean, what are you supposed to do on a deflection when your defender is supposed to head the ball away and not at the goal?
I didn't know if you thought it was a question. Sorry.
You said when your defender is supposed to head it, not at the goal.
Yeah, no.
No, just stand in the box and play goal.
That save that he made down, I was texting Griff during it, and that save that he made down to his right side was fucking unbelievable.
Dude, he played really well, and
I agree.
I'll talk about Diaz's goal at the end of the game, but yeah, so I'm glad he got to play. Despite the result, I think he deserves more starting minutes. So we'll see if that happens. But yeah, kind of like what Butch was saying, I agree with everything you said. I thought that we were dominant in the first half outside of Trent hitting the crossbar, which would have been nasty. His foot came across the ball like that, and he didn't even really lean over it, but got so much power on it, but rang the bar. Outside of that, we dominated in chances, but the second half you guys did make good adjustments. Feel like you guys started going long a lot more, and it was working, and you guys had more shots because of it, but I really don't think you guys had many big chances either outside of that ball that obviously went in. I know that you guys have been talking a lot about Arteta, in or out, and I think Dope specifically, you're high
The people want to know,
for
man.
even recommending it. Yeah. I mean, not that many people want to know.
People wanna know.
It's mainly just been the United boys that have been questioning it,
I've seen it
because they have so much internal turmoil with having to hear about Ten Hag. I get it. Um,
I'll let you
and I appreciate you guys thinking of us so much, but I feel like in the Prem, managers are so quick to blame, and rightfully so, right? They're the guys that are putting the tactics together and putting the guys on the field. But I know, Dobes, you said something to the effect of, will Arteta be here in February? And I have no doubt he will be. I don't blame him one bit for that game, outside of maybe a couple of the substitutions he chose to make too late in the second half. But I blame the lack of finishing in front of the goal 100%. Gabriel, Saka, Kai Havertz, Odegaard rang the post, but we had several opportunities during those 90 minutes. And Liverpool were kind of the same way, especially in the second half. And I know that beating a team in statistical categories doesn't get you 3 points or move you on to the next round, and I understand it, but I also know that, Arsenal Twitter was wild, but I'm not panicking at all, outside of us desperately needing somebody who just wants to put the ball in the net on a consistent basis for us, given a lot of these great opportunities that we do get. We've got 14 of our players have scored a goal in the Premier League this year. I know this is outside of tournaments and stuff, but we have 14 different guys that have scored a goal for us. Saka's our leading scorer with 6, and he's tied for like 15th or 16th in the Prem in goals. And so with the amount of chances that we're creating and that we saw us create in that game against you guys, if we have a guy that can just wants to put the ball in the back of the net, then we're a completely different team. So I think that that's hopefully something that they're working towards this January. But that second goal, in talking about that, I feel like that was kind of like an empty net goal for me, like in a hockey game. You should lose 2-0 in a game like that, because you're trying so hard to score a goal to tie it up. Ramsdale was up in your guys' box the set piece before that. So I don't take that second goal too much to heart, but it obviously sucks that, we were in the position in the first place because of an own goal.
Dude, Jorginho's ass.
Yeah,
He's
Yeah,
ass.
I don't know why he came in. I don't think that was the game to start Kiwior. I don't think that they should have waited as long to put Nketiah or Trossard in. I don't really know why Smith Rowe went in for Kiwior specifically. Yeah, a lot of question marks on, not a lot, but a handful of question marks on some of the subs as far as who and when. But
And who do you aim those questions at? Like, who's responsible for those? Like, when you say that there's a lot of questions to be asked, like, who are you asking those questions to?
Mickey Arteta.
I didn't say there were a lot of questions to be. I just said that.
A lot of question marks, man.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and I said that at the beginning as well. But outside of that, there was nothing else to blame other than the fact that we just couldn't put the ball in the net with the amount of chances we made. Jesus Christ, I'm bleeding.
I'm sure you guys.
Like, oh my God, man.
I'm sure you guys all saw Ian Wright's tweet of, kind of a weird selfie at the game.
It was a weird selfie.
The caption was, "We need a killer," and
yeah,
it's true. And I saw something interesting. It was the speed of attack in terms of this season, from transition to defense to going forward. The fastest team in the league from transition to attack is Liverpool. The very last team from transition to attack is Man City. The third to last in terms of speed is Arsenal. But what's the difference between Arsenal and City right now? A key difference. You have an Erling Haaland.
Yeah.
You have a Bagsman. And so I think, truthfully, the biggest issue right now is, I'm not blaming Kai. I do think that spending that amount of money on a player that you kind of already have in an Emile Smith Rowe or somebody else, or a Trossard who can also do those roles, and not buying a 9 is what's hurting you. And the real reason I like to give shit about Arteta is because, Winks, I consider you a good Arsenal fan. You've gone through a bad skid of games. You haven't turned on your manager. That's what good fans do. That's how I've been about Ten Hag the whole entire time. But I think what we're seeing right now is you're going through this skid right now, but obviously the skid will stop. The one win in 7 games will sort of stop. But having seen what I'm seeing, I predicted Arsenal to win the league this year. Having seen what I've seen with very few comparatively injuries, I don't see a way that, like, right now, a way that this team is going to win the league, because they don't have those match winners. And it doesn't necessarily have to be, a 9. You look at City, it's a Rodri. Rodri will step up and score that goal in the 90th minute. It's a Kevin De Bruyne. It's a Phil Foden. It's
Bernardo Silva.
They have match winners all over that field at each different position, that in that moment, it doesn't have to be Haaland. Most of the time it is. But they have those guys that can step up. And I think that's Arsenal's biggest problem right now. It's not that they don't have a 9, but they don't have a killer. Like, they don't have multiple guys that can step up. When their 9 doesn't score, who's going to be the guy? And I think with just the way that Arsenal plays, and teams just know how to sit deep. And then when you don't have a killer in the box to finish, it just leads to problems like that. So not that Arsenal are figured out, but I do feel like that teams are figuring out how to play against Arsenal a little bit more than they were.
Dude, bruh, that's where you got to blame Arteta, man. I mean, this MFer had a war chest of money, and he bought Kai Havertz, bro.
Yeah, and it has to be the tandem. Like, and while you were saying that, I was saying that this is like one of the signings underneath the both of them, Edu and Arteta, that I feel like they've gotten wrong. And it's not the only one. I mean, you mentioned, Lucas, earlier, that Kiwior has been dreadful since he came in. Doesn't necessarily mean that it was a bad transfer. He was so cheap. Whatever, came in for a little bit of backup last year when you needed it with Saliba out. But, like, I think that Havertz thing just makes no sense. Obviously, we have our own opinions on it, but you brought up Smith Rowe or Trossard. Like, the gap in between, like, a Smith Rowe and a Havertz is so small that, like, why spend 60-70 million or whatever they spent on him to not bring in a 9? Like, I think that they just got that really wrong, and we're seeing the repercussions of that this season in a lot of ways.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Kai's been, like, terrible either over the past couple of weeks. It's just because of the transfer, the money, all of it, that he's going to be the first target that everybody's going to point out.
Totally.
Like always he's going to be. But like Wink said, it's like that second goal was a completely transition goal. It's you're going for the game.
Mm-hmm.
Neither team wants a replay. Neither team wants to play again. Arsenal's pushed forward, and it's just bang. What's Liverpool best at? On the counter. Like Diaz hit and they scored.
I saw a quote on that Ian Wright tweet. It was like that we need a killer, and someone was like, "Look, man, I know Kai didn't have a great game, but I feel like that's a little extreme."
Yeah.
I love that.
That's great after that.
I gotta ask you guys a question, and I think this is a fair question, and it's not talking about his defensive ability. I do have the defensive stats for Trent, that he's only given up 2 goals to left wingers this year, but is Trent the most technically gifted footballer in the world?
Bro, he's up there.
Who's more technically gifted?
He's in the combo
At
bro.
Liverpool.
Phil?
Period.
Oh, okay. Thiago at Liverpool. Phil Foden.
I don't know that he's more technical than either of those guys.
I don't know if Phil Foden is.
Foden doesn't have the passing range that Trent does. No way.
I'm just saying this because Trent has been unbelievable.
I think he's up there. Trent's up there.
There's this list of the 20 wingers that he's faced this year. The only goals and assists that he's given up, both are to Anthony Gordon in 2 separate games. And then you look and you add up the passing range, the technical ability. Like, I genuinely think that this guy might be the most technically gifted footballer of all year.
There's no way it's only those 2 goals, because I've seen plenty of goals of Trent getting headed over, or the guy at the back, him wide open.
Yeah.
Is that just in the Prem, or is
so
that
many times I can think of off the top of my head?
Who scored him?
I don't. I'd have to go back and look him. I'm telling you, I can tell you many times and not him. I understand, like, not him getting beat, but like him being not anywhere near the back post or anywhere in his position. Like, that's on him, and I bet you that's not a stat that's lucky.
Nick,
You're talking.
look at that thing on your head, bro.
Who hates Liverpool more than anything?
I'm with Nikki here though.
Like, we're.
Those stats are misleading. In general, most stats in football are misleading. There's only a couple that really are true. And him getting
respect because he's been good defensively this year.
He's been great. He's been great. He's been great this year. We've always joked about his defensive ability.
I think he's so very obvious.
Great.
poor spot in their defense.
I think the statement of like, is he the most technical player? I think is so whack because like it's undeniable the quality.
That's one thing he's best at. He's technical.
No,
I
fuck
agree
that.
with
No,
that.
What do you mean?
I think
Of
his
course he
passing
is.
form is great.
But you gotta hop in here at
It's
some
awesome.
point, man. I'm not
Yeah,
a Liverpool
wait,
fan, brother.
wait. I want everybody right here at your club name a more technically gifted player than Trent. At your club.
Michigan, baby.
James Madison.
Cole Palmer.
Yeah. James Madison.
Technically gifted?
Thiago
Talking
Silva.
about the
Nick, I'm gonna smack that hat off your head through the screen, bro.
We talking dribbling with Thiago Silva? Or are we
We're
talking
talking about
passes with Thiago
passes,
Silva?
bro. He
What
leads
are we
the
doing?
Prem in passes. If we want to go there, man sprays the ball.
He's making 5-yard passes, bro.
Trent's on too.
James Madison's still top
Nick,
5 of the year in
Nick.
chances created,
Nick,
and he's not played.
Technically gifted has nothing to do with stats.
I'm on your case, Dobes. I just don't know if he's like way above all these players technically wise. Like I think he's up there
I'm
in
okay with it
technical
being a
ability.
conversation, but I'm not admitting that.
I agree.
I think
I
Henry made a
refuse.
great shout though. I think healthy Thiago is insane.
Agreed.
But that's the thing. Like
Insane.
you think about like there was actually something that Trent did in this game that I haven't really seen out of him that I was like, okay. They always talk about Trent being this midfielder, and he's not really. He's like, he's this inverted winger that's kind of like the last midfielder back. He has all the space where he can drop back, pick a pass. I'm cool with that. But like he took one ball from deep where he kind of broke through the midfield line dribbling, and I think he outpaced, I think it was Havertz, through the midfield. And I was like, okay, if Trent, mind you, he's still pretty young. If Trent can start developing that to his game where he's breaking lines through dribbling, like I'm not going to gas up Frankie de Jong here, but Frankie de Jong's the best player in the world at doing it, of breaking lines, dribbling. Like I think that if Trent can do that, like then I'll start saying like, okay, yeah. But I mean, like Trent can pick a
But
pass.
Trent is a 6. He can do that.
But
yeah,
but
for sure.
but
Yeah,
he
like,
but he
no
doesn't
doubt.
though. He doesn't do it. That's the thing.
He
Like,
doesn't play as a 6. He plays an inverted fullback.
but there's nothing that tells me that he can do it though. Like, there's all of these guys that could do it, but very few of them actually do, which is why Frankie like sticks out the way that he does. When he picks up the ball deep, he can pick you out with a pass, a dribble through 4 guys. Like, it's such a rare thing. But for me, like a guy who's top tier technically, I'm looking at them like dribbling in tight spaces. I'm looking at them beating a man. I'm looking at them playing passes. Like, I'll put Trent as like one of the best in the world at hitting a long ball, a free kick, a corner kick. He can kind of put it wherever he wants. But like, until I see him like dribbling in and out of tight spaces and doing all that stuff consistently, I don't know if I'm throwing him to the most technical player.
How
the
would you judge a right back technically then? Because
I don't know,
he's
like-
not gonna go 1-on-1.
But
Pedro
that's
Porro.
He's a 6.
you want to know about Andy Hoover and Thursday Night Veta League?
Yeah, that's how you judge right
Watch
back.
that, Stokes. But like, yeah, that's the thing. Like, I mean, I don't know, but like the thing is I see other guys on the field proving their technical quality more than Trent, and maybe that's just because of where he's
He's done it
positionally.
more this year than him.
I don't know. Ederson kind of plays some balls,
Yeah.
he kind of throws around some passes, but yeah, I don't know. I'm not taking away. I think Trent's been great. I think like when we, last year we thought that Trips was going to be clearing away the best right back in the league. Trent's taken that this season. He's really been fantastic, but like, I don't know. I don't feel comfortable with giving him the most technical player award.
I think he's in the conversation. I don't think he is either, but I think he's definitely in my conversation.
He's in the combo. That's what we said at the beginning. He's in the combo for sure. No doubt. No doubt. That feels
All
good
right.
to say. God damn.
After a year of just him getting dragged through the mud.
Yeah,
He's
dude.
still shit at defending.
Dobes, how old is Trent?
He's
As much-
25. 25.
Yeah, he's got time, bro. He's got time.
I mean, I need him to get injured is what I need him to do.
Hey, bro, what?
Yikes.
Just being honest.
One of the few people I know that wishes injuries on guys.
Classic United fans.
Classic United.
It's my mental health on weekends, man.
All right. Well, on to the last FA Cup game of the weekend that happened today, the day of recording. Manchester United at Wigan. Wigan?
Wigan.
Wigan?
What?
Oh my word.
2013 FA Cup champions over City.
Oh, this man said Wigan. He said Wigan.
Go ahead, fellas.
Again, your sister is your mom.
Gundogan.
Gun.
Hit me with it. What are your guys' thoughts?
I mean, Hen, you want me to go
Dose.
first?
Yeah, you go, bro.
I mean, there's not too much to say. Expected 3 points. We actually, like, we were talking about this before. Like, we played a relatively strong lineup. You know, we went with Wan-Bissaka, Varane, Jonny Evans. You know, Delo is a left back. McTominay somehow in the 11 again. Kobe Mainu, Garnacho, Hoyland, Bruno, Rashford.
Nana.
So yeah, Onana again. He's the biggest
Again.
question mark of why he played in this game at all. He did make a massive save a couple minutes into the game, but kind of unexpected result. You know, like we won 2-0. Delo, a brilliant finish in the second half. A late, you know, kind of soft, but definitely a little contact. Bruno Penn towards the end. Hoyland, I think, probably should have had a hat trick. McTominay probably should have had a hat trick. This game could have been a lot worse, but at the end of the day, like, I'm just happy to get a result, get the year started off right. I'm going to shout him out until I can't shout him anymore. Kobe Mainu. There's clubs that spend 120 million on players. There's clubs that spend, 240 million on 2 players just like him. But he's, he was the man of the match. I can't say enough about this kid. He has this sort of like, I know we use the word aura, but it's like he has this presence to him where, like, he doesn't look like he's 18 years old. He doesn't look like he's just joined professional football. He doesn't look like that at all. I think it was something like he 100% dribbles completed. I think he was like 95% pass accuracy, winning tackles all over the field. So happy with the result. But on to Spurs. Again, just need to get back healthy. Love seeing some youth in the squad, but got to get back healthy. Other than that, happy with 3 points.
Yeah, I feel the same way. It's kind of open and shut. Expected win. Glad that we got it. I would be lying to you if I didn't say that I was nervous before this game, because you expect to win this, and United's kind of just been so back and forth this season. But yeah, I feel like we should have finished a lot more chances. Man, I'll tell you what, I don't want to knock it too hard, especially because we're coming off of a win, and you don't always need to complain all the time. But Rashford, bro, I mean, he just has so many chances, and he's just so wasteful so many times. And like, I don't know, I don't want to be in this space where, like, every single year he's playing, for the next contract or whatever. But like, you all know how much I love him. Obviously, he's up on my wall right there. But like, it's so hard watching him play, and you can't convince me that there's not a better left winger out there that, we can stick out there consistently and get better results. So I feel like he could be one in the summer who's on his way out, especially with Ratcliffe coming in. Word on the street today is that they're doing an official 8-week kind of audit of the club. Holistically, the Ineos group is everything from the playing squad to the facilities and all that stuff, which obviously 8 weeks takes us, to the middle of March. But we'll see how that goes. I expect a lot of things to get shaken up over the summer, so we'll see. But glad we got 3 points, and not bad.
I watched, as any normal person does, watch Goldbridge right afterwards to get his thoughts on the game.
Normal person.
But he says it's spot on. I think you guys all agree. It's like, if Rashford doesn't score, what does he provide?
Yeah, totally.
I think that's the issue. Like, Goldbridge called him a one-trick pony. Because it's like the times, and it's like against Wigan, to me, it looked like he was playing Wigan. And what I mean by that, it was like every time he got the ball, he was looking to get to his right foot to try to hit a banger from 40 yards out or whatever it was to, like, get his goal against Wigan. Versus, like, if he doesn't score, create, beat somebody, cross the ball, get an assist. Like, he doesn't provide any of that. He hasn't. And I don't know if it's just me being blinded to it last year because he did score 33 goals in all comps and, like, he was flying. But you still have to be able to, like Garnacho, for example, didn't score today, but he was creative. He was electric on the right side. He beat somebody. He crossed the ball. He was combinations inside. So we're getting to the superlatives later, but Rashford might be up there for my biggest bust or whatever that one is, because he's been capable.
Yeah.
All right. Well, congrats on moving on. With all that being said,
3 points, Hen.
3 points is 3 points is 3 points.
Even in a competition that doesn't count points.
Yep. But
Nonetheless, win is a win is a win. All right, boys. Well, that wraps up the FA Cup segment. We're going to move on to our hometown club, St. Louis City. We just got an announcement today that we signed a Danish left back, Nicholas Dyer from FC Midtjylland. What do you guys think about that? I know that actually I want to let Hoove go first on this since he was in all the Twitter banter this morning.
First things first. We identified weak parts of the team, and wouldn't you know it, Lutz went and got players to fill the weak parts of the pitch. That's
Mhm.
insane.
I swear they listen
From
to our podcast.
From literally any fan perspective of any team ever, that shit doesn't happen. So that's the first thing. Unless we trust until it's backwards. I need him to give me a reason to not, because he's playing. Yeah, Dobes replied to our tweet earlier. He's playing Football Manager on hard mode right now. Like, he's finding gems. We obviously don't know a ton about these guys. And then we got another right back. I don't remember his name, from Hammarby, maybe. Swedish league.
I think we have, was it 6 or 7 Scandinavians now on this?
Yeah, it's a lot.
6, I think. So we went out. We specifically spotted a left back and a right back as our weak points, which, if you asked 90% of the people that went to any game last year, was an issue, and no one had a solution. It was John Nelson. It was Kyle Hebert. It was Akil Watts occasionally. It was Jake Nerwinski. Like, it's hard to just sit there, and now that we're like kind of so close to these guys, it's hard to really dog them all year about it. But seriously, those were the weakest positions. Like, everything else on the pitch felt semi-covered and within decent hands. But yeah, so this kid, Nicholas Dyer, I don't know. We'll find out eventually. He's, from what we've seen, an out-and-out left back. He can get up the pitch. He can whip across. He's got technical ability. He's a good 1v1 defender. Everything I've seen is like we're playing Football Manager. You pick players that fit the role of your system. Like these guys that we've pulled from Sweden and from Denmark and Midtjylland, they are up and back defenders, comfortable on the ball. That fits us so well. So that's the biggest thing to me. The number one thing that worries me, and if I can find him on Twitter, I'll shout him out. But this guy was like, he responded to one of our tweets, and he's like, so excited to see some 5-3-2 ball. He's like, I think we're set up perfectly now for that. And I wanted to vomit. I've seen enough 5-3-2 in my life under Conte and Mourinho that I don't ever want to see it again, personally. But he also brought up a good point. So, you bring in 2 pretty high quality, or at least higher quality wingbacks, definitely leaves us stronger now at the back than we probably are up top. I don't even know necessarily about up top, but just towards the front.
Pressing with 2 strikers is always nice, though, to be fair.
It is nice, and someone else said, Klaus is 6'2", Adrian's 6'4", or 6'5", or something. We didn't whip crosses last year. So, a 5-3-2 sets us up a lot more for that. My concern is the press. The press starts with Klaus, and then it goes to whoever's in the 10, which I think we still need to fill because Lowen apparently doesn't want to play that position. And then you've got, your formerly Stroud and maybe Indiana, or, an Alm on the right. That's where the press commences. So when you play a 5-3-2, and I'm no statistician, I'm no tactician, but my mind is, those guys are going to have to play up way, way, way higher for us to be able to play that role or play that style. But then that just leaves us really exposed. So I'm concerned about that, although it does feel that it's kind of setting up that way. But nonetheless, we covered some spots. Really excited about that. I'm cool with the Chris Durkin pickup too. None of these guys are over the age of 23, so that's one thing I think we want to note too. Is for the most part, value is the risk reward here is high. We've got a lot of reward And for guys to be playing in the Europa League and playing well in the Europa League at these smaller, middle tier kind of Europa Conference League clubs, that's a step up in my mind. If you're bringing guys over John Nelson and Jake Nowinski to come in and play those positions who've been playing against major teams, there's just no way it's a step down. So that's my excitement. I would love to see a 10 come in still. And, Paulo Dybala is only 12 mil. If Carolyn Kindle's got it in her pockets, I doubt it. But guys, someone like that, to me is about the only thing left. I know Dobes said before we even started, I think we've got 28 of the 30 slots filled. One or two might be loaned. We still haven't registered the Japanese kid from Wake Forest yet. So there's still some malleability and some flexibility, but we're covering spots. Like we started last year, we played really well last year. We had a lineup that no one had anything, we had no thoughts of. Obviously, like how are we gonna just depict on what we were gonna look like? And now we have a identity and a style. Filling those spots, I think, was great.
I liked that draft pick too as well. I watched a couple of highlights and I liked what I was seeing.
Box to box 8, I love these, this Japanese kid's attitude towards football is different now. Like it's different like from whatever we've seen. I mean, Matoma, you could list a bunch of these players that are playing in the Japanese national team and they all just approach it academically. Like he wrote a freaking thesis on dribbling and how to do it. This kid sounds like very similar to the fact that he's a student of the game, extremely coachable, plays an 8, plays a 6, plays a 10, loves getting up and back. The positives are all there. It's just whether or not it turns into production. So,
Wake Forest has some good products too.
Wake Forest is a freaking program. Yeah.
And Lutz, we trust. I think we just got to trust his talent idea. I mean, obviously, we can watch these comps all we want, and there's not going to be any comps of their mistakes unless you're David De Gea. But like, I think it's one of those where we have to trust Lutz. Like who you hit the nail on the head. Wing backs were terrible last year, so we went and got 2 wing backs.
Yeah.
Let's hope they pan out.
I'm worried. My biggest concern is that we lose Lutz. To be honest, I'm at this point right now. I'm more worried about him than I am Klaus, Lowen.
Yeah.
There's no real youth products right now that I'm like, oh shoot, we're gonna have a hard time holding on to him. Like Caden Cowell, maybe, but it's just Lutz till we trust, or Lutz till we die. There's no way, nothing else.
Shout out AZ. We haven't mentioned
AZ. Yep.
Shout out, made it to the first national team call up. Then again, it is kind of like a preliminary roster, so it's like all MLS guys, but still, AZ getting
whatever.
Sick.
Yeah.
That's really cool. I think this is the first time in my football career as a U.S. men's national team fan, as a St. Louis City fan, that like I'm getting a little touchy on some of these major U.S. men's national team, accounts being like, well, there's 5 players in this group that are even worth looking at. The rest are like shouldn't even have call ups, and I'm like, you know what? Hold on, like, that's my man AZ though. Like I don't know if he was the right pick either personally, but give him his flowers and let him go see if he balls. That's where no way around it.
All right, well said. I know that I'm stoked to see both wingbacks in action, and hopefully we're not done in the transfer window yet. But with that being said, we'll move on to the 10-minute segment here that we kind of talked about earlier. We're actually going to do like a 2-parter though, so we're kind of mixing it up compared to what we would normally do for our 10-minute segment. But we're going to start off with talking about our own Premier League clubs. Okay, the goal is to no specific number, but I want to hear from each of you guys regarding your respective clubs. I want to hear. Obviously, nobody outside of Spurs has signed anybody officially yet, so I want to hear remaining who your guys' top transfer targets are, whether that be in a perfect world or realistic. Kind of have fun with it, as well as a guy or 2 or 3 that you think is going to be leaving the club or that you would like to send off in exchange for more money or more room to sign more guys. So it doesn't really matter who wants to start. Actually, we'll go backwards from the order of games. So, Butchie, start us off. What's going to happen in Liverpool in January? What's
If you had to give the main player I want, because both of our left backs are hurt until
Say it.
March and April,
Say it.
is
Say it.
huh?
Say it.
Say his name.
I don't want Luke Shaw, bruh.
No. Say it.
Nah.
Huh?
Say who you're gonna say. Just go.
I want Estupiñán from Brighton.
Oh.
I thought you were gonna say Robbo from Fulham.
No, I want Estupiñán, bro. He's a dog. He's an absolute dog. Give me that. And he's young. He's like 23 years old, man. He's
Brother,
Yes.
you know who I think would thrive at Liverpool? Grimaldo from Leverkusen.
he'd be a stud
Brother,
too.
it would be unreal.
He'd be a stud too. I mean, Robbo turns 30 in March, so like he's gonna start slowing down. And Estupiñán is 23, and he's lighting up the Prem. He'd be a hell of a signing, and I think he would fit Klopp ball for sure.
I have a hard time thinking that he goes. There's not a team in the league that he wouldn't make better.
Yep.
Yeah, he's a dog, bro. He's a dog. Are we only doing 1 week?
Who do you want?
No, do a couple.
Yeah,
Yeah,
do whatever you want.
Leave.
I was gonna
Who else
say
do you want?
Henry mentioned him. Henry mentioned him earlier, but I've been wanting him for a while. I think Klopp would turn this kid into a monster, just like he did with Mario Götze. And when he was at Dortmund, he turned Götze into a beast. And that's Florian Wirtz from Leverkusen.
Yeah.
Bro, if he played for Klopp, I think he'd be an absolute monster.
It's a wish list,
This-
huh?
Yeah, I was gonna say. So we're doing like summer transfers, not January transfers.
Oh well, yeah, I guess that's more of a summer one, yeah. But because he probably wouldn't leave the best team in Europe, right? Arguably, who haven't lost
That'd
a
be
game.
so fucked to do Xavi like that.
Yeah.
But those are the main two. Like you give me Estupiñán right now, 100%. Give me him right now.
I think that deal would be doable. I think it'd be a lot for Brighton to give him up, but I think that would be doable in January.
Who do you want
Yeah.
out, Butch?
What?
Who do you want out?
Who do I want to leave?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I would not. I'd be. I can't say honestly nobody, because I would say Joe Gomez, but Matip tore his ACL, and we only have 3 or 4 center backs healthy, so we need to keep Joe Gomez.
So you
What do
want
you do with Carvalho, bro? He got recalled from loan. What's happening with him?
I'm not a big fan of him, man.
He's
I
going to
don't know.
Hull.
What?
Oh, really?
He's going to Hull on loan. I think I saw it today. It's confirmed.
That's good.
Yeah, I think
He's
it's
not
gonna
ready.
hold.
He ain't ready for the Prem, but I'm not a big fan. I got to see more out of this kid before I give him.
He's not ready for Liverpool. I think he could do it in like a lesser side and get the experience. But
Did he
like
come
he's
from
not ready
Fulham?
for Liverpool. Yeah, he did. And he lit up the championship. He
Yeah.
was being regarded by everybody, but he's just not ready for a top 4 team.
I agree.
It's fair.
That's my wish list. You give me those two, bro. Bro.
Happy camper.
Oh yeah.
I love that. United boys, what about you? And we can start on your end.
Yeah, mine's easy. I think it might be like a kind of a rogue shout, but I want Karim Benzema in on a loan, on a 6-month loan. He's not playing in Saudi. Like he's really not enjoying his experience there. I know that he's older, so I don't want to buy him. It's not going to fit into like the future identity of United, but for 6 months, give Rasmus some support and get a striker who's been there and done that. And also United has a history of getting an older striker in January. We've done it a million times. I think that it's just kind of tailor-made for it. I think the big thing is just going to be his wages. He'll be probably the most expensive player in the Prem if he comes on loan. But that's who I want. And the other one is I want Todibo from Nice as a center back. I think both of those deals are doable, especially with Ratcliffe owning Nice. I think that there's something that can be done there. And then finally, I want what's his name, Ashworth or whatever from Newcastle, the director of football. I know it's not like a player signing, but if we can get him locked in with Paul Mitchell over the next couple of weeks, I think that'd be huge for anything going forward with United. And then as far as outgoing, number one is Scott McTominay. As crazy as it is, I think we could get 25-30 million for him, and United desperately needs that money. We do not have that money. Sancho getting out to Dortmund for 6 months will be massive for him, and the wage bill, that'll be huge. And I think other than that, I think getting Pellistri out on a loan, Ahmad, if we're not planning on using him the second half of the season, out on a loan would be fine. But McTominay is top of the list of being sold. Before this season, I would have said Maguire's number one, but we've had to rely on Maguire a lot this season. He's played well when we've done it, so he's staying at least till the summer for me.
Yeah, I'm with Hen. First off, I don't think we're going to sign an old striker. I have no idea who it's going to be. It's going to be 2 days before the window's over. Once we finally get some loan money for a few players,
And it's going to be Woot.
Honestly, that's not out of the question.
Bro,
In terms of players that I want gone, I want Jonny Evans gone. I want Harry Maguire gone. I want Lindelof gone. I want Reguilón, he is gone. I want Ericsson to be gone. I want McTominay to be gone. I want Handel to be gone. I want Martial to be gone. I want Sancho to be gone. I want Anthony to be gone. Who am I missing?
Rashford.
Just bring the kids in for the rest of the year.
Yeah, no, seriously. Like, if you want me to be realistic, if we're kind of going who needs to leave the club, I think that's there may be 6 to 7 guys in the first team who I think you can genuinely build around. The rest can get fucked, in my opinion. But yeah, Benzema, sure, Benzema.
You were in that moment. You very closely remind me of that United meme from years ago, where he's like, the reporter asked the little kid in the United jersey, "Who's your favorite United player?" None of them. They're all shite.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's that we're in a situation right now where Hen said it earlier. We're in a situation where we're going under a full review of the entire club, and I think for us to move forward, it's like we've gone through how many managers now, and the same players are still here. Like, eventually, you got to get rid of the dead wood and the players that have been part of the leaks and all the other shit going out. So it's like they're going to be stuck with us till of course they're at the end of this year. But there's a long list of players who need to leave.
Yeah, it is the one thing that I'm at least semi optimistic about with the new ownership coming in, that they will be able to clear out some of the deadwood, because as bad as we've talked about Manchester United signings and how much money we've spent, we haven't been able to sell a goddamn player to save our lives. So like if we can clear out some of those guys that Dobe said, and even take a hit on the asset, like I'm fine with that. We just got to get these guys out and be comfortable with like signing some lesser known guys, and 10 to 15 million, pound signings. Huge.
Realistically, I think the only obviously Sancho, but I think the only like real like outgoing this January is going to be Martial. I think he's going to be the real, like, he's going to leave, I think.
Yeah.
Besides striker, what's the next position you guys really want to see?
Center back.
I need right-sided center back.
Okay.
Yeah, we need somebody. I love Varane. He's not. I think we should keep Varane. He can't play every single game, but we need a right-sided young center back who can come in and play next to Licha.
Yeah, and I want Todibo from Nice like that. That's what I would do.
Fucking all.
Take Chalobah.
he's a dog.
And to be fair, I'm sorry, Jonny Evans, you didn't deserve me just doing you like that. He's been great. He's been fantastic. He really has. He's been great. He's been great. But
He looked
Shout
good
out Jonny
today.
Evans, an avid listener of the Mecca Banter podcast.
I'm pretty sure when he's like started, I'm pretty sure we have like 1 loss or like 0 losses and a tie or something. Like,
Here for it.
Love that. Nikki, how much is Chelsea going to spend this January?
Yeah.
Mbappe, Ronaldo.
To be fair, I can't believe I'm saying this for I think the 3rd transfer window, 4th, 3rd, that we need a goal scorer or a striker. So obviously my list, my big top signings are strikers. I have Osimhen and Ivan Toney as my top 2. We're linked with both of them, I believe. I think I've seen rumors on both ends for those. And then the last one I had, and honestly, I would really, really like this one because I was upset when we let him go, is Tammy Abraham. I've seen some rumors with him as well, and if we brought him back, I would be thrilled.
He's gross.
I like him a lot, and I think he's kind of exactly what we need in the striker role right now. The people that I want gone, Jackson for sure. I know that's not going to happen, and that's probably unrealistic. The other one I had was Chalobah. I think he is I know he's injured right now, but I also think when a lot of these people, or a lot of our players are fully healthy. The center back position, we have a lot of people in. And I think Chalobah is just, I don't think he's going to cut it. To be completely honest, I like him over Diassi. I just know that that's not going to happen because Diassi's getting a lot of playing time right now. But I think he will probably be on the outs. And then the other one I have, you guys are probably not surprised, is Raheem Sterling. I hope he can.
What about Conor Gallagher? Sell him high.
Gallagher, I saw the rumors. That was the next thing I was going to say. Some of the rumors that I saw,
high,
I
bro.
wanted to talk about.
I'm all in for Chelsea making money on him.
Conor Gallagher, coach just came out and said that he's very happy with his performance and the club is very happy with him. I don't think he's leaving. I would hate to see him leave, to be fair. I think he's actually put in a shift and he's kind of won me over this year. So
180.
I don't think he would leave. The other rumor I kind of wanted to bring up that I just saw was the Henderson rumor. Of possibly bringing him on loan.
That'd be wild.
I think that would be wild as well. And like at first, obviously, I wanted to fucking gouge my eyes out and throw up to the side of that because he's probably similarly how you guys were talking about Timo. Like he was probably the most dog person I ever talk shit on this podcast.
Hey! Former PFA Player of the Year.
But I think. I do, on the only good side, if that were to happen, I think he would bring experience into a very young side, which I think is kind of needed.
Hey, you need a goal scorer. I heard Eden Hazard's still available without a club, so you could bring him back.
True, very true. We have so many wingers.
Henderson always seems like one of those guys to me. Like he puts his football like kind of above everything, which is why I was surprised he went to Saudi. I mean, he's making $700,000 a week in Saudi Arabia.
How do you even do a loan out of Saudi Arabia, bro? How do you negotiate that? Like, I can't take
you guys
salary,
decide to send midfield after spending $220 million on two.
Yeah. Also, Henry put it in the group message before, but Maatsen going on loan to Dortmund. To be fair, I'm actually really excited for that. Like, I'm happy he's going there.
He's a dog.
I hope he gets a lot. Like, I hope he gets some good playing time. I think our side fully healthy, he's struggling for minutes, and I think with the little of competition that we're in this year, he would be better suited at Dortmund getting more. So I'm kind of pumped for that. I didn't get to read into like the buyback clause or anything like that, but like hopefully it's just someone we retain after he goes on loan for a little bit because I do think there's a player in that.
I do too. I think he's great.
Yeah, but I'm actually pumped for him. Like I think he's gonna get good minutes there. I hope.
By the way, shout out Boley. He was at the Golden Globes last night.
And spending millions on
Shohei.
That's why I'm interested to see if we spend a lot of money this January with all the.
That's wild.
I don't think any of us are expecting anything less.
You have a direct
I'm okay with it.
frame of reference now because oh shit, dude, I don't know. You spent a lot of money with the Dodgers. Like
you just dropped $780 million.
Yep.
Well, he's deferring 90% of it, and
he'll have to contracts.
Yeah, he'll have to pay up. Imagine if they allowed that in the Prem. Todd Bowley would go crazy. Crazier, I should say. But all right, Hoove, what are the Spurs gonna do? You guys got a lot of injuries. I know that you got a couple coming back fairly soon, but outside of Timo, what does Ange and crew need to do?
yeah, the immediate one is it Remu Dragoshin?
Say what?
Yeah. Also couldn't tell you.
Oh,
much about
the
guy.
center back, you mean?
Mhm.
Yeah.
He's
Couldn't
quality.
couldn't tell you much about him. Dobes sent me some comps, and comps are just that. But Genoa, 22-year-old center back who's playing every day, 90 minutes. Guess he's been pretty solid for them. That's the immediate. I think another center back just has to happen because we lose one every 2 matches, it feels like. So for him to come in would be huge, at least underneath Romero and Mickey. He'd play a lot for the most part. And then, I don't have a ton of guys that we can send out. Like we Eric Dyer might be on his way to Bayern, and I think that's the biggest one that I would even say, even if there wasn't a rumor, it's just his time. Loyal to the club, whatever, yada yada yada, servant. But it's time. He just doesn't fit the system. He's not been good enough for 3 years.
Bro, you guys having the center back issues and then them asking Ange if they can afford to lose
Yeah.
Dyer. He like wholeheartedly was like, yes.
He like sat there for a second. So like with all these center backs, and you just sent Ashley Phillips out on loan. Like, can you afford to lose Eric Dyer? He like sat there for a sec. He goes, yeah, yeah, we can. So that says a lot. Yeah, I'd love a center back. The Conor Gallagher rumors grown on me, but I just 60 million for the kid
No.
right now. That bothers me.
Really?
I would
He's not
love.
60?
I just don't. I don't think he's worth
Okay.
60.
I don't
I
think
was-
he's
I
worth.
was
I think he's worth. I think he's
There's
worth
some
60
English
in
tax on
January.
that for sure.
Yeah.
English
There's
tax.
the English passport tax on that.
He's still
I think he's 60 in January for a team that needs him desperately. I think he's 40 in the summer for a team that, needs someone like him. I don't think that Spurs do, outside of right now where Basuma's gone, Sar's gone.
Gallagher's 23. I think that's a good price tag for him.
To be fair,
I think it's too much. Like I don't know. I think 60 is high, but the English tax thing is real. Like I don't think he's going to go for less than that, but I think that it's too
If he
high.
goes from a top 6 to a top 6, you're gonna get
Timo was not on my wish list. I don't, it's like you don't want anyone that's going to come in and take Matter's spot. No one is really going to come in and take Matter's spot unless you go find, a Dybala or even, I don't even know if he does kind of thing. But I would love to see maybe another winger, some competition. There's a lot of youth on those sides right now. Without Sonny, we've got Hill and Kulusevski and Brennan Johnson. Some certified strength on the wing would be great. Butch is so close to the camera
Butch,
right
what
now.
are you
I can't
doing,
even
big
look at
dog?
anything else. Yeah, I don't know. Everything's changed in the last 2 weeks as to where I thought I wanted players, but now we've got holes and gaps and need players in like right now. So that'll change your perspective. But yeah, step back. I'd love a winger. Summer, get me a center mid, but with the healthy team, the guys are some dogs. So we just literally have only seen 2 matches with a healthy team. So
Fair. I'm happy to round this out. Yeah, so I've got 3 off the top of my head that are fairly realistic. Actually, I'd say they're realistic, whether it happens in January or in the summer. But more pressing than anything, pretty much what my whole spiel was talked about during the game review earlier. But we need a striker as well. We've been linked super heavily with Victor Boniface from Bayern Leverkusen.
just got hurt.
Did he?
Yeah,
Didn't
he's
see that.
out 6 weeks.
Okay. Well,
I
Sick.
just read that today. It's the only reason
damn. Well, assuming he was healthy, up until then, he had 16 goals in 23 appearances, so there's no doubt he's a capable finisher. I know over at Leverkusen, Xabi Alonso has them playing a very similar style to what we play at Arsenal. But the beautiful thing is he's also got 8 assists to tally onto that, so I think that he would be a seamless fit. But since he's hurt and for 6 weeks at that, which blows, just we need a striker. So whether that's an Ivan Toney or an Osimhen, I know that any of those other guys that are out and out finishers are going to be really expensive, and I think Boniface would have been one of those that would have succeeded, would have done really well, but wouldn't have been at that $100 million price tag or higher. So I guess we'll see what we do in that round then. But
when is Tony when is Tony like available?
He's back very soon.
Just bagged a Hattie against the Sunderland U20s,
bro.
Yeah, I don't know, but I could have sworn I read something that he's not going to be, we're not going to be able to sign him until the summer or something like that. because of how that worked out, or it had something to do with like how the whole David Raya thing worked out with Arsenal buying them from Brentford. It'll be kind of it's something similar regarding that they probably won't sell him to us in January, so he may end up going somewhere else, but we'll see. So we need a
Back
striker.
January 17th.
Okay. So yeah, that would be great as well. We also need a right winger, so that way Saka can get some breathing room.
Bench.
Yeah, he can find some bench.
Yeah, guy needs it.
Smart. It's very smart.
So I think that Pedro Neto would be, I'm so sick of it. But I think Pedro Neto would be a sick signing, given that Saka's the only left-footed right winger that we have, and Pepe's out on loan right now. I think we should just, release him altogether. But
I forgot you had him still.
yeah, but I think that we need him, and I know that Reece Nelson and Gabby Jesus have played on that right side a couple times, but I feel like Pedro Neto offers a different kind of threat that the other two don't. So he would be sick. And then lastly, Amadou Onana from Everton. I think that with Thomas Partey being hurt all the time, 23 years old, he's like 6'3" or 6'4".
Yeah, it'd be huge.
Yeah, I think that again with like all these rumors about Partey's future at the club, I think that we need somebody that can. We see already Declan Rice playing box to box, but I think that having somebody besides a Jorginho behind him will really unlock his ability to do what we've seen him do best, both for West Ham and for us so far this season. So those are kind of my three. But with Boniface getting hurt, obviously, I'll have to pivot there. But I think that Ivan Toney would still be a good one. I just know that Brentford are asking an absurd amount of money for him. So at his age, I don't know how worth it is. Knowing that outside of Jorginho, we don't really sign a lot of older players. So I don't foresee that necessarily happening. And then, yeah, like I said, we need to release Pepe. We need to get rid of Nketiah. We need to get rid of Mohamed El Neni, and I wouldn't be surprised if they got rid of a guy like Reece Nelson as well. But I think everybody else, for the most part,
is Partey going to AFCON?
No,
He's not,
because of air quote injury.
That's what's on the books. But
it's on the books.
Yeah. Is what it is. So we'll see. I think that I know that the January transfer window just opened, but I think it'll get typically it gets spicy right at the end of it. So I'm excited to see what all our clubs do and who chooses to spend money and who doesn't. With that being said, we'll move on to our Mecca Banner mid-season awards. So I know last week a few of you guys weren't here, but we went over our predicted team of the season from last year, from the beginning of the season. So instead of going over that this week, we're just going to do a couple of mid-season awards. So we'll do this quickly. We'll go through, but we'll start with Player of the Year. If a couple of you guys want to chime in,
say it.
Yeah, I don't want to say it, but Salah for me.
Yeah, it has to be.
Dobes, I want to hear you say it.
I won't.
Dobes, I want to hear you say it.
I promise you, I won't. I saw some. I don't know if you guys watched the most recent pitch side where Tom Garrett was talking about how Salah's got all the goals, but when he doesn't score, like he just ghosts.
That's true.
Stop, bro. Stop. You can't pick anybody else, bro.
Yeah, it's got to be Mo at this point.
Who do you have?
Richarlison.
Brother, I'd take Sonny over Richie.
Yeah, facts for sure.
Richie got a big ass nose, bro.
Pour over Richie.
He's got he's got a very attractive girlfriend now, so that could play into it. You never know.
We'll see. All right, underperforming Player of the Year.
Rashford.
Jesus.
Rashford.
Oh, I hate
Ooh.
Jesus.
Jesus.
I
Jackson.
think we're getting exactly what we expected from Jesus. I mean, what I expected at least.
3 goals in 16 games. I mean, him and Markey have the same stats, bro.
Nico Jackson.
Marcus has looked
That's a
worse.
shout. That's a
Trip-
good
trip-
based on
trip-
expectations, I guess.
Trips
I
Trips
thought he
has
was
to
gonna
be in
a
there
smaller
too.
for us.
Oh, I like Trips.
Trips?
Trips has been bad, bro. I
Terrible.
mean, regardless, like, still at the end of the day, he still created one of the most amount of chances in the
I was gonna
league.
say, he's had like 2, 3. No, he's had a couple.
Like 4 bad matches back.
I don't know
to back,
about yeah.
sure.
I think
all right.
Jesus and Rashford.
Jesus, Rashford, Trips, and Nico Jackson, but I don't think anybody was expecting anything crazy out of that, so that's you can't really.
Yeah, more than this though, for sure.
Yeah. All right, manager of the year.
Emery.
Emery.
Unai.
Fuck,
Unai
what?
Ball.
What? You
Yeah.
guys are
Bro.
insane.
Bro, they're in second, bro.
Second place in the Premier League. You're insane.
Bro,
With
second.
how many? With what? With 2 years under his belt and 2 and 4 transfer windows.
I would
Bro,
argue,
he's got
I would
John
argue that-
McGinn.
I would argue that right now the top of the Premier League table is as close as it's been in a decade. And he
And
has
just
them in
playing-
second.
Ben Davies and Emerson Royale as center backs for 5 matches straight. That's insane. They are 5th, and they are
Brother.
motoring. They are keeping it together, playing a system and style that is built from this man with players that can't play it. Players that don't even fit in the system, that shouldn't even be at the club, and they're killing it.
Bro,
Hot fucking
Emery.
Ange is
Man.
insane. Emery
evening.
plays terrorist ball.
Good
I love
evening.
that you guys love
Bro,
watching it.
Emery has
It's
turned.
awful.
Bro,
He got Mohamed Kudus. Everyone would be doing great with him. Get out of here. Pau
he doesn't
Torres-
have Mohamed Kudus. He's at West Ham, bro.
Oh yeah, you're right. Shit.
Diaby.
Diaby, that's what I was thinking of. Nah,
Bro, he turned Ollie Watkins into prime Alan Shearer, bro.
Ollie Watkins wasn't terrible.
Ollie
Richarlison
Watkins
didn't have
wasn't
any
bagging
goals.
Needed a
a goal
manager.
a game.
Ollie Watson was playing decently. Richarlison had 2 goals in a Marseille Champions League game, and Conte didn't get him to score 1 other goal. This man has 6 on the year.
Ange for Kane leaving and then him not being able to be a 9.
We're also we're pointing out at the fact that he let Kane leave, the best striker in the world, and he walked, and they're in 5th, playing really well with 11 players out of the starting lineup. You guys are insane.
Bro, I'll give Ange chillest manager in the league. I'll give it to
Chillest
chillest
manager,
in the league.
best manager, the
The
guy who's
President
turned an
Award.
entire
Best
year,
friend award.
the guys who's turned an entire team and system around in under 2 months. He had 1 month of preseason, and then they were dogging teams. And what's Emery's had months. Emery's had a season and a half.
I mean, I wouldn't be
Exactly.
I wouldn't be
Bro.
surprised if when you guys get all your guys back, assuming you get them all back before the end of the season, and you guys continue on the trend that you're on, that he doesn't win, even if you guys don't finish top 4. I could still see.
Who don't answer this? Who wins a trophy first, Villa or Spurs?
Define trophy.
Carabao Cup. Carabao Cup.
Tiger Cup.
Villa.
Villa.
I hope it's Villa every day of the week. No
I
offense.
was gonna say Villa too, so it's really not that big a deal. But because Ange has had 4 months, 6 months, and they look like this.
I was gonna say
Emerson-
Ange. I was gonna
Oh.
say Ange, but
The only other answer is Emery, but that's not the answer.
what Emery needs is the Villa to finish like 5th. They need to go to Europa League, and then he's at home. Then they're cruising through that competition.
Facts. dude.
All right, and then lastly, I think it goes without saying, but we have the goal of the year.
Cole
Mr.
Palmer's
Garnacho. Does anybody have?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Slam dunk.
Patrick
Slam dunk.
Bamford.
Bamford's not
Dude,
the
that
bro.
was
Nah,
disgusting. though.
Garnacho's was better, bro.
But
That's-
I think I still think we have more to see. There's been a couple of bangers this year, and we still got half a season, so
All right.
we'll see. Hopefully, we see a couple more bikes. I'd love that. But yeah, Jen. So today's episode we covered the 3rd round of the FA Cup. We covered St. Louis City and their transfers, Premier League transfer goals, rumors, etc. And then finished off talking about our mid-season awards. So if you made it this far, just want to take a moment to thank you for listening. through, and we're all super grateful for you guys following along on another episode of the Mecca Banner podcast. And for those listeners, we'd also appreciate it if maybe you guys left a review on whatever your listening platform of choice is, whether that's Spotify, YouTube, Apple Music. That helps us to get in front of more people so that they can listen to our bullshit. But yeah, also check us out on our socials. Henry is back and is the king of TikTok. Episode 22 in the books. Cheers, lads.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Yeah, boys.
Cheers, lads.